Would you like to sit as well?
Hi everybody. I'm going to read 4 kind of pretty quick pieces, spanning back some old stuff and some new stuff. And I actually I'm going to close out with a piece that I wrote just for tonight for all of you, so we'll get to it eventually. The question revealed. Whatever you do, don't ask why we are here. She hates that. Maurice stumbled his steps for a moment and clenched his soft stained hat with both his hands. God is a woman? Larice smiled and partially turned from her role in the lead and gently ran her hand across his shoulders, pulling him towards her for reassurance. God is a little girl, and she loves people who aren't afraid to show themselves for what they really are. Maurice's brow tightened. Which is? Larice spoke softer than she had before. Mostly children who are all grown up and miss themselves. This answer confused Maurice, and Larice smiled from her eyes and turned to lead them on. A bird flew songfully above them in a flash of movement. The meadow and the hills surrounding were in the height of a mellifluous new beginning. Spring was handing love letters in every direction, and summer was promising only to be true to itself, which is what makes it summer after all. Maurice thought nervously to himself, maybe she'll like me because I'm a painter. Then more encouragingly, as he envisioned what she would be like, maybe she loves me already. Larice quickened her pace. Come on, it's just over this rise. Maurice gave strength to his stride and found his heart was beaming like the sky above him when he heard the sound of singularly universal laughter. I once told the title of this poem to someone, and they're like, you can't successfully make that poem happen. And I was like, no, listen, I can. Ode to your wife respectfully. There should be no shame in wanting to drink from God's cupped hands, so long as you realize that ultimately that these hands are your own. The water that quenches your mercenary thirst is birthed by the wellspring of your love for existence. Humans retaliate against the invitation to be priceless. They answer an unspoken summons with the revenge of wasted lives and eluded breaths. What remains invisible cannot become visible to transport you to the care of yourself. Only the soft spell of an internal surrender can conjure from within you the gentlest of defeats, where you admit that you just might be worthy of having unconquerable worth. The elves and pixies were gathered. A party unfolded like a map that showed treasure in all directions. The forest was sworn to secrecy, and no firefly would alight except to show the purpose of joy collapsing into itself like a lover waiting to enclose you the precise instant that you are pierced by sorrow. You came to me as a celebration that I could not initially comprehend. How tremendous that you are married to a determination to serve each present moment with a vibrant bouquet, gathered unceasingly from the untamed meadow of your entire self. You have triumphed with verve of innocence and a scar of wisdom. Gratitude is the goddess centered on your altar. What fine vintage you distill to give away each precious drop from your winery. The dust cannot gather on even a decade's slumber, for it knows in your heart none shall go unchosen, and only the greatest of the fools will be forgotten. Alas, I am shameless to give witness to the beauty that adorns your journey. A strange configuration of the impeccable feminine is forged in the way your wife sculpts herself through the very air that I once took shelter in. I catch myself stealing knowledge-seeking glances at your spouse from across the kitchen, She is like the Empire State Building in 1943, a creation to be marveled at with a stupefied wonder that stretches the boundaries of consciousness and possibility. My eyes ride elevators to observation decks, and I only have seconds to perceive a metropolis that will remember my footprints upon it as merely a parting flurry of snowflakes in April. Rays of desire flash like warning bursts in the peripheral, and a force of nature consumes me that I long to be a casualty of. Her style forms itself around an unworldly lineage, and the universe has no bottles in which to send messages, so instead must tattoo whispers on pebbles that it skips across the heavens. These falling stars are temporary reminders that we are soaking in infinity. It seems just and logical that courage attracts the choices of authentic glory. I am happy that you have one another to host seasons with no laws of stillness broken. Perhaps it is only that I savor elegance like dew drunk from leaves at dawn's sincere banquet. As a fugitive from a princely fate, I am on the run from an inheritance that waits with earnest indifference for me to command the noble calling of my own exquisite truths. I'd like to recite Hero and a Master, Pablo Neruda. Ode to a Pair of Socks. Maru Mori brought me a pair of socks that she knit with her shepherd's hands. 2 socks as soft as rabbit's fur. I thrust my feet inside them as if they were 2 little boxes knit from threads of sunset and sheepskin. My feet were 2 woolen fish in those outrageous socks, 2 gangly navy blue sharks impaled on a golden thread, 2 giant blackbirds, 2 cannons. Thus my feet were honored by those heavenly socks. They were so beautiful I found my feet unlovable for the very first time, like 2 crusty old firemen unworthy of that embroidered fire, those incandescent socks. Nevertheless, I fought the sharp temptation to put them away the way schoolboys put fireflies in a bottle, the way scholars hoard holy writ. I fought the mad urge to lock them in a golden cage and feed them bird seed and morsels of pink melon every day. Like jungle explorers who deliver a young deer of the rarest species to the roasting spit, then wolf it down in shame, I stretched my feet forward and pulled on those gorgeous socks and over them my shoes. So this is the moral of my ode. Beauty is beauty twice over, and good things are doubly good when you're talking about a pair of wool socks in the dead of winter. For those who find their wholeness in shrapnel and splinter, for those of you who had to survive this winter, impartial brightness and long darkness at times, your warriorhood fractured in these northern climes. For those who saw dreams but only in glimpses fleeting, denied access and offered no greeting, where disappointment rallied and was crowned king, and you were called to epic flight upon broken wing, where love was a stranger on the other side of town, and humility was a free lunch that you couldn't keep down. For those of you who have fought, mostly forgotten, to appease a society whose foundation is rotten, this one is on the house. This one is completely free. Your money is no good here, unlike your spiritual currency. You're on the guest list plus infinity. You own the palace tonight with your gorgeous divinity. You shine brighter than graces that have no measure. Your laughter is riches, your smile a pure pleasure. Because no one has said it, and because it is true, allow me to say what you seldom hear. Thank you. Thank you for fighting to shine and to remain. Thank you for having no time to complain. Thank you for making the art of your heart a class worth taking. Thank you for knowing how to drink from inspiration's cup and for somehow finding a way simply not to give up. Thank you for healing your personal pain and making love something that you could give again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Life is a struggle and the journey is long, but this world is blessed by your presence and song. Don't give up and don't give in. The challenge remains, but you're still going to win.